In a time when EVs are being pushed upon all of us, you have to have a manufacturer that says, no, we need to find a different approach. Yes, electrification is the future, but going full EV might not be the solution for everyone. I didn't think Toyota was going to be that manufacturer, but here we are. They have doubled down on hybrid and plug-in hybrid technology to give you a wide range of appealing vehicles, such as the new Camry, which is hybrid only, the Prius, the RAV4 hybrid, Crown sedan, and now the Crown Signia, the vehicle I've been waiting for many months. Because when I take a look at this vehicle from the outside, I think it's stunning. I think it's one of the best looking Toyotas this brand has ever made. Now, some of you are going to say, Mike, you have a poor taste in design and styling. I don't want to hear any more of this. Well, you might want to hear what this vehicle is offering for 2025, why it might be one of the most appealing hybrids under $50,000 you can buy today. And that's why I am here, because I may have built a pedestal for this crossover to sit on, and I want to know, am I going to be impressed or am I going to be disappointed? Well, in this video, we're going to check out everything. We're going to take a look at the exterior, the interior, take it out for a test drive, and see why, if you are looking at buying a luxurious hybrid crossover that you don't want to spend over $50,000 or $60,000 to receive, then maybe taking a look at the new Crown Signia might be a great decision. Now, before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout and thank you to AutoFair Toyota in Tewksbury, Massachusetts for letting me come down here to check out the new Crown Signia. Their link will be in the description below, so you can check out their extensive Toyota inventory. So as usual, let's begin with pricing. The model of today is the Limited, coming in at right around $48,000. This is the top trim for 2025. You can go with the XLE for around $44 grand. Keep in mind that you will be sacrificing some creature comforts and amenities by going with the lower trim for this model year, but I still think it's worth it at the end of the day. At this price point, you can cross-shop this with a number of hybrids, but also you could cross-shop it with a Lexus RX350, maybe even a Mazda CX-70 plug-in hybrid as well. But I personally think that with the Crown Signia, it is rather unique in regards to its styling and design. Because for one, it doesn't look like a crossover. It has a lower roofline, a very long hood, and also a hatchback-like rear fascia. It has the characteristics and design elements of a station wagon. In regards to its length, it comes in at 194 inches. In regards to width, at 74 inches, and a height of 64 inches. So it's actually more of a car on the roadways, and that goes hand in hand with the full paint finish. We have gloss black trim for the wheel wells, which goes very well with our paint color today, but also is a very classy appearance for our model. Now, we are going to talk a bit more about the side profile later on, but for me, everything is about the front fascia. So by going with the Limited, you are going to receive self-leveling LED headlights and LED daytime running lights for better visibility at night or in adverse weather conditions. As you can tell, they're both in separate housings, which is a departure from what we're seeing with the Prius and the Toyota Camry. I will say though, for the front fascia, it kind of reminds me of a BZ4X, but still has the functional vents that you would find on a gas-powered model. So you see that with the daytime running light housings, that connects into the smaller vent there. What I really love though about the Crown Signia is the fact that just like we're seeing with Lexus products, the vent does integrate into the front bumper seamlessly. So there's no need for unnecessary plastic cladding or contrasting accents. It's all just one piece, and I love to see that on this model. Also, just like we saw for the side profile, there is no cladding for the front bumper, so those gloss black accents make their way into the LED headlight housings, and it just gives this vehicle a dynamic, sporty, and an aggressive appearance. Better yet, you are going to have some nice body lines on the hood, and from certain angles, it does look like a Lexus RX350. So it definitely has this upscale persona that we have never really seen from Toyota in the past. This is truly a luxury crossover that you can buy from this brand at an affordable price point. Then as you make your way over to the side profile, by going with the Limited, you are going to receive 21-inch alloy wheels. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, oh, the 21s, that's going to create a lot more road noise and the ride will be harsher. Well, not necessarily. It's going to ride very similar to other EVs and hybrids in this market, and I think you will be genuinely impressed. Obviously, with the XLE, you'll receive a smaller tire size. That might be more optimal for you, but if you do want to go all out for your Crown Signia, the 21s are still going to provide a lot of on-road comfort. Matching the gloss black trim, you are going to notice the gloss black side mirror caps with LED turn signal indicators. And obviously, with this being the top trim, you will have blind spot detection for added safety and convenience. Then as you make your way around to the back, you are going to notice the LED taillights that swoop around the final third of this crossover for a car-like and station wagon-like appearance. This wouldn't be the first time I've seen this design before, and this might be a bit sacrilegious. This kind of reminds me of the Porsche Cayenne. I know that hurts to say, but the way the Crown has been designed, it looks very elegant and doesn't look like a vehicle that's priced under $50,000 to start. So I think this will slot into place very nicely in its market. As we're seeing across the board in the Toyota lineup, you are going to notice the Crown badge written out on the liftgate for a trendy appearance. And then wrapping up the final third of this model, you are going to notice the gloss black bumper, which again, definitely tells you this is not going to be an off-road worthy crossover and is going to be all about that luxury and refinement. Now, I'm not too surprised there is no physical exhaust outlets. That is to be expected from a hybrid such as this. Then taking a quick peek under the hood for the Crown Signia for 2025, you are going to receive a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine with electric motors to produce a total of 240 horsepower. It is paired with an eCVT, so obviously it's not going to be a sports crossover by any stretch of the imagination. But the Crown Signia is efficient, receiving 39 miles per gallon in the city and 37 miles per gallon on the highway with the model we have today. I do think a lot of you are going to notice that with the electric motors, this vehicle does feel rather refined on the roadways. It's going to feel very smooth. It's also going to be a crossover that does mimic luxury vehicles at around $50,000. So it's not going to be like a Toyota RAV4. It's not going to be like a Toyota Prius or even a Camry. This is something a bit different. It's going to set itself apart in the lineup. And I personally think, as we're going to find out later on in this video, it kind of reminds me of a Lexus RX350h. Stepping inside the Crown Signia Limited, you are going to receive power adjustable, heated and ventilated leather trimmed seats for both the driver and passenger. With the driver's side having 2-position memory for added convenience, and that will go hand in hand with your leather wrapped steering wheel. For the seats themselves, they are very comfortable and supportive. On a longer drive or on longer commutes, you will not be feeling any back pains at all with this vehicle. The leather upholstery is very high quality, and again, for a vehicle at around $50,000, that's exactly what you're looking for in this market. In front of you will be a full digital gauge cluster that we have seen in other Toyota products as well, such as the XLE for the Camry. And just like with the Camry, by using the buttons on the left side of the steering wheel, you can scroll through a variety of information and customize both gauges that you have here in front of you. Now, we're not going to go too in-depth on this because we have checked this out before, but the one thing I do like is that you can customize this screen to your liking. It's not static, and although it's not going to be the most intuitive, at least you can interact with it, which is something that I think a lot of mainstream manufacturers have difficulty implementing into their vehicles. Then quickly taking a look at the infotainment system, you are going to receive a decently sized infotainment system here, giving you wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. By going with the Limited, you will receive the 11-speaker JBL premium audio system, which will amplify the audio of your favorite music. Now, we have seen this system plenty of times in the Toyota lineup, so I'm not going to bore you here with the layout and go through everything. That would just be too repetitive. If you want to see more of that, check out my older Toyota reviews or Lexus product reviews. On the left side of the screen, you will have quick access icons that will get you to different menus efficiently, such as your onboard navigation that you can subscribe to. If you don't want to do that, just use Google Maps or Waze. You also have the icons for your music, your Bluetooth, your vehicle settings, and general settings. So from here, you can adjust your climate control, your comfort, your trip information, energy flow, and then the vehicle alert system. And then also with the general settings, you have your personal info, Bluetooth and devices, general, and notifications. All straightforward stuff here. Toyota knows their customers better than anyone, so they're not going to give you a user interface that would rival Audi's MMI user interface or what you have with Mercedes-Benz or BMW. So I think a lot of you are going to like the trimmed down and simplified head unit that we have here for this model. But by going with the Limited, you will have a rear backup camera with trajectory, a front-facing camera with trajectory, and a top view. Now, you can go with the advanced technology package, giving you a panoramic view monitor, lane change assist, traffic jam assist, front cross traffic alert, front and rear parking assist with automatic braking, and then when you are reversing, your side mirrors will tilt down. So you are going to have a lot of safety here with this vehicle, but more importantly, on a daily basis, you'll be able to park this vehicle on city streets with plenty of visibility, but also in tight garages as well. Continuing on, beneath the head unit, you are going to find your physical buttons for your dual zone climate control, heated and ventilated front seats, AC, front and rear defrosters, fan speed, fan direction, and your heated leather wrap steering wheel, which is great to see because a lot of manufacturers in this segment are moving away from physical buttons. So if you want that luxurious experience, but you want more of a tactile layout, you have that here with the Crown Signia, which I think is a bit impressive because for a vehicle that is rather futuristic and somewhat concept car-like, you still have that traditional layout, which I know a lot of you are definitely going to love. For the center console itself, and this is why I think the Crown Signia does mimic a Lexus RX350, you are going to find your wireless phone charging pad, but then 2 USB-C inputs. You're also going to find a button for your camera systems. Then next to your 2 cup holders will be the gear selector, which functions very much like what you're going to have in the Lexus RX350. You have a drive mode selector for sport, custom, normal, and eco. So if you want to have a sportier experience, you can do so, but most likely for a vehicle like this with only 240 horsepower, it will stay in normal or eco mode at all times. Next to that will be your auto vehicle hold, your EV mode, your traction control on and off button, and then the electronic parking brake. For the center storage compartment, you'll have plenty of room for smaller items such as a couple wallets, smartphones, or other smaller gadgets. Also, you'll find another USB-C input. Then to round out the front seating area, by going with a limited, you will have a panoramic sunroof, which will bring in a lot of natural light to the interior. Then for passengers, in the second row, they're looking at right around 37 inches of legroom, which does seem rather cramped and rather small for a vehicle of this size and in its segment. I personally think, though, that on paper, Toyota is being rather conservative because you would look at the numbers and say, oh man, I could go with a RAV4 or a Highlander and receive a better, more practical and family-friendly option than what we have here with the Crown Signia. When in reality, there's a lot of legroom, there's a lot of shoulder room, and then in true Toyota fashion, they lowered the second row seats a bit to maximize headroom. So if you have taller passengers sitting in the back, they won't be hitting their head on the headliner, even with the massive pano sunroof. Also better yet, even though you do have an aggressive center hump and it is wide, it doesn't take away from legroom or shoulder room, so I think you can squeeze in a third person in the center, which makes this a great family-friendly option. Better yet, you will have heated outboard seats by going with the limited, and I have to say, with the leather upholstery, there's a lot of cushioning here, not only for the backs, but for the lower half of my body. So on those longer drives, on those road trips, you're going to be feeling very comfortable in the back of the Crown Signia. Also back here, you will have 2 rear air vents to go along with 2 USB-C inputs. And then to round out the second row seating area, you do get a center armrest with 2 cup holders. Then as you make your way around to the back with the Crown Signia, you are going to receive a power liftgate. And inside, behind the second row seats, you're looking at right around 25.8 cubic feet of room. Obviously, with the lower roofline and just the way the Crown Signia is shaped, you'll be sacrificing some practicality if you are cross-shopping it with a RAV4 or Highlander. But if you're solely looking at an upscale hybrid, you have the practicality necessary for weekday tasks. I was able to fit all my camera gear today, no problem. So that's 3 bags of camera gear, a gimbal box, and a tripod, and I had a lot more room left to store other items as well. You're also going to have some side pockets for some smaller items, maybe a couple water bottles, car detail equipment, or maybe even a first aid kit. Another feature I really like to see on a vehicle such as this, you will have a rear cargo cover, which will keep all your valuable items out of sight. So if you are like me and you have camera gear or anything else of value, you can leave them back here and have that peace of mind knowing that no one will be able to peek in and steal what you have. Better yet, on both sides of the cargo area, you will have quick release levers that will conveniently lower the second row seats. And with those second row seats folded, you're looking at right around 68.8 cubic feet of room. Obviously, because of the lower roofline, you can't stack up as many items, but you'll be able to store tables and other furniture in this crossover, which is pretty profound for an SUV in this market. For crossovers like the Toyota Crown Signia, this could be a very important piece of the puzzle, not only within the Toyota lineup, but also where we are in the automotive industry. As manufacturers are trying to push full EVs, buyers aren't responding very well, and Volkswagen, Ford, and GM are finding that out the hard way, and they probably wish they went all in on hybrid and plug-in hybrid technology. For Toyota, that isn't a problem. We're seeing that the Camry, the Prius, RAV4 hybrid, and also the Crown and Crown Signia seem to be the way to go and what buyers are responding to the most. But for the Crown Signia, though, this vehicle seems more profound and important than what you're going to find with the Camry or even the Crown sedan, because this vehicle feels like a Lexus on the roadways, has the same demeanor as an RX350, has the same design and interior quality as a Lexus product, but you're not spending Lexus money, because if you are looking at an RX350h, you're spending at a bare minimum at around $54,000. Whereas with the Crown Signia, you are saving about $5,000 to $10,000 depending on which trim you go with, and you're not missing out on the creature comforts, the amenities, and the features. Just take a look at the interior: leather upholstery, heated and ventilated seats, a full digital gauge cluster, nice infotainment system, but also you have a digital rearview mirror as well. For a crossover that comes in under $50,000, that is fantastic. But also for a lot of hybrids in this market that Toyota is going head-to-head against, you're not going to receive a luxurious experience, but the Crown Signia, I think, is the exception. Just take a look at its design. It does look very classy and upscale, and that makes its way to the interior and the driving experience as well. Some people will argue that with the Crown Signia, it is a bit one-dimensional, that it's all about the efficiency, but also being upscale, and it's not going to be the most enjoyable crossover to drive. Now, that depends on what your definition of enjoyable is, because with the suspension, with the steering, it's not going to feel like a sports crossover at all. Steering is actually rather light, and the suspension is tuned very softly. However, the way in which this vehicle glides along the roadways, the way it performs, and when you are just cruising around in the city and suburbs, it does feel very nice. It does feel very luxurious, making it a suitable daily driver because of its efficiency, but also, in my opinion, its affordability. When you are taking a look at other plug-in hybrid and hybrid vehicles in this market that the Crown Signia theoretically could go up against, you could be spending over $50,000, such as with the Mazda CX-70 plug-in hybrid. But also, when you take a look at other vehicles within the Toyota lineup, this just feels a bit more refined than what you're going to find in, say, a RAV4 hybrid. And that's why I have been drawn into this crossover, and why I've actually thoroughly enjoyed my time with this vehicle. In regards to interior insulation, it is so quiet. Now, obviously, when you are on throttle, the gas-powered engine does kick in and it does drone. That's to be expected with a vehicle with an ECVT. But everything else outside of that, even with the larger tires for the Limited, you don't hear a lot of road noise. It's actually rather quiet. Now, because this is a new model, let's discuss the overall vision you have here to work with, being behind the wheel of the Crown Signia. A-pillars are actually rather thin, so you won't have any blind spots when you are approaching intersections or red lights. When you're taking a look at your side mirrors, they are decently sized. I can see what's in my blind spots and the lane next to me. And then looking out back, you have the digital rearview mirror, but because of the shape of the Crown Signia, I can see what's directly behind me. So a lot of vision here. Now, for a crossover with a decent amount of ground clearance, that actually doesn't translate to the seating positioning at all, which I am a bit surprised, because when you take a look at this vehicle from the outside, it does look somewhat station wagon-like. And because of that, the Crown Signia drives somewhat car-like as well, which is a bit polar opposite of the Crown sedan, which I'm very confused by driving this vehicle around today, because I feel like I'm more planted to the roadways. I have a better connection to the road, and with that, I think it handles better. You don't have as much body roll with this crossover, which makes it more enjoyable to drive when you are on some back roads. Outside of the intangibles of being practical, of being efficient, being relatively affordable, there's not too much noteworthy here. Obviously, for people who are a bit more enthusiast focused, you might want to take a look at a Lexus product. But for a lot of you who are just looking for the efficiency, for the refinement, for the quality, you're going to love this vehicle. You're going to love it, especially for a crossover under $50,000. I love the fact that it has the styling, it has the design, it has the demeanor of a vehicle priced at $60,000. And that is one thing that Toyota has been doing very well lately, where they're still giving you an affordable product and a competitive product at that. So let's see if we can get on the highway here in a safe manner and pass some slower drivers. A decent amount of mid-range torque. And as you could tell, the ECVT did kick in there, but droning wasn't too bad. I do think that even though this isn't the quickest crossover in its market, it's more than adequate for sure. I can pass slower drivers with ease, and obviously with the electric motors aiding this gas-powered engine, you have plenty of power at your disposal. As I said before, when you are on throttle, you do get some of that droning, but it's not too bad. At highway speeds, you don't hear a lot of that road noise either, so again, this is going to be a great choice for those who do go on frequent road trips. And as we get off the highway, we're going to have an opportunity to test out the handling before getting back on. And I will say that even though the steering is loose and leaves a bit more to be desired, it hugs the road pretty well at around 50 miles an hour in these corners, which I didn't feel with the Crown sedan, which is why I'm very confused today. I'm very confused between both models. And if you are somebody who is drawn in by a Toyota with the Crown nameplate, lean towards a Signia. Obviously, you're getting better practicality, but I think you're getting a better handling vehicle as well. Whatever Toyota did to this suspension and chassis, they definitely listened to the critics on the Crown sedan. And as you can tell, I was able to safely merge onto the highway. All in all, what we have here with the Crown Signia is a great vehicle with everything under one roof. Obviously, it's not going to be a sports crossover, no sports use suspension, no weighted steering. But it is efficient, it is practical, and it comes in under $50,000. Right there, it checks off a lot of boxes. Now, I know some of you are going to say, but Mike, this is a niche product for a niche type of buyer. Why would I spend close to $50,000 for a Crown Signia when I could buy a RAV4 hybrid? Well, for those who have lavish tastes that want a Lexus but don't want to spend over $50,000, this right here is the vehicle for you. I also think, just my take, the styling and its exterior appearance is more appealing than a Toyota RAV4 currently. I also love what Toyota is doing with their entire lineup, with the Prius, with the Camry. Obviously, the RAV4 will take some of those design elements for the next generation. But I think what we have here with the Crown Signia is a crossover that right now is in a league of its own. When you take a look at its styling, that could be a make or break deal. That could really shape where this vehicle slots into place in regards to sales figures, because it does look like a station wagon that's lifted. But one thing we've learned so far is that a lot of buyers are looking for crossovers like this, where it does drive car-like, it feels car-like, it looks somewhat car-like, and you have all of that here with this vehicle. And because of its somewhat spry nature, because it does feel more glued to the roadways, this could most certainly appeal to people who want that hybrid technology, that want a comfortable daily driver, that also wants a vehicle that isn't going to be boring or sedated. I wouldn't call it boring or sedated. While I do think a lot of its attributes and positives do lean more towards the intangibles, what you have here is a crossover that will most certainly not disappoint. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this review for the 2025 Toyota Crown Signia. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more, and I will see you guys next time.